Shalom, this is Gamali Allah, the great Millstone Atlanta. We give our praises, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH by Shemi Oshai, by Shemi Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great Millstone. Shalom to the Akim, pushing out this truth and sincerity. All right, it's a quick lesson, and it's gonna be dealing with this video right here. Cooley and Andrew Wilson destroy Hebrew Israelites. All right, and of course, as you see, you have Captain Tazaryach. This guy is everywhere. And you have this guy, Guerilla Hebrew, and I don't know who that is in the middle, but he's an Israelite also. But then you have the two podcasters, Cooley and Andrew Wilson. Now, this is actually 11 months ago. This video, it's got almost three quarters of a million views, which that's a lot of views. All right. But yeah, this guy Cooley, he's pretty popular podcaster with his debates. You know, he's pretty sharp. I'll say that. I'll say that he's pretty sharp with his arguments. You know, he goes in. Now, I'm just gonna be commentating on this. You know, fair use. So I'll go ahead and play.
It's not an absolute qualification.
Yeah, I understand. But you understand that there's immediately something which is fallacious, which is happening here, just by the very argument of biology. Nobody at the time that any of the Old Testament was written or the New Testament had any understanding of DNA, no conceptualization of this whatsoever. They only had the conceptualization of house lineage. But the idea of blood itself being in some way passed down, and it's through that blood that you will receive X. That wasn't the actual conceptualization. It was from house.
Well, that's what we're talking about. We're still talking about the house.
Yeah. So all right. So right off the bat, the discussion of the discussion of biology comes in, like, because a lot of people will make the argument, oh, but you don't know you are biologically the Israelites. How do you know that, you know, your bloodline goes back to the Israelites? I presume that's what he's asking, but how you tell the Israelites is based off of lineage. All right, it's based off of purely lineage, which is dealing with when you read in Numbers, it says they declared the names of their houses by their pedigree. Matter of fact, I'll just get it. But that's how you basically would tell who is the lineage, you know, who's who by their house. In Numbers 1:18, it says, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of their names, from 20 years old and upward by their polls. So it was all according to the fathers, you know, lineage, as far as when we're dealing with lineage.
House of Israel. It's still what we're talking about.
What I'm asking is what makes you of that house.
So 1 second, when you say blood, the scripture don't.
What makes us of that house? First of all, you know, we don't have any concrete evidence. We can't go through DNA. You know, he mentioned DNA. We don't have DNA evidence, hard DNA evidence. We don't have, you know, we don't own biological artifacts. A lot of us, we don't have a family tree that stems all the way back, you know, that, you know, would go all the way back to, you know, our early forefather. We don't have that. Okay, we simply don't have that. But that's a part of the curses. That's a part of Israel being Israel's punishment, is that we would lose the knowledge of who we were. That alone is how we know, or that's one reason why we know that we are the Israelites, based off of the fact that who else on the planet Earth has right now currently or in modern times, you could say, who suffers from identity crisis? Which group of people suffer from identity crisis? All right. So let's keep playing.
Don't say blood. The scriptures say house. It says it's
That's
the
what I said.
12 tribes of Israel.
Yeah.
Right. So it's
Yeah,
the
his
house.
question
It's
is,
the
what
son.
makes you have that house?
What makes you have that house? What makes you that blood?
Curses,
when you come from-
prophecies, and archaeology. We've been saying it for the longest. And also the spirit. That's in the scripture as well.
Yeah, no, but if it's
Yeah, so that's a good answer. That's a good answer, because he said, I missed the first thing he said, but he did mention that it's spiritual, and he said that, based off the prophecies, of course, you would read Deuteronomy 28 chapter, going to the blessings and the curses. But the key word is that it's based off of faith. We don't have any hard evidence. We don't have any, thing validating to these non-believers or whoever for that matter. We don't have anything to say, yeah, I'm an Israelite, like a identification thing, or something that identify, hardcore proof evidence that we are Israelites. But we know based off the Spirit. That's why when you read Romans 8:16, it says the Spirit itself, meaning the Spirit of the Scriptures, beareth witness with our spirit, meaning, in other words, it's in alignment, it's an agreement. So that's why our spirit clings to this truth, because we can feel it. All right, we're in alignment with it, and that's what would make that would contribute to one understanding that they're Israelite.
biological, how do you personally trace your root biologically?
Did you not hear me? Did you not hear me?
Yeah, so like I said, he's going on the subject of biology. Like, how can you prove?
I don't.
So
I don't understand though. That's what I'm
Andrew,
clarifying.
Andrew,
You saying to me like, did you not hear me? Doesn't say anything, right? That doesn't clarify anything.
Well,
let me ask you one question before you go in. Let me ask you one question, 'cause I've been
One
kind of
mic at a
quiet.
time. One mic at a time, real quick.
Let me ask you one question, because I've been kind of quiet. Hold on. Let me say one thing. What's your name?
Andrew.
Andrew, let me ask you one question.
Mhm.
What race of people went into slavery on ships throughout the history of mankind?
All races of people.
Name me the races that went to slavery through ships.
Well, so I would say
Now there were other nations. I did a little digging on this. There were other nations that were enslaved, via slave ships. I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna read this. I asked Chat GPT or Google AI overview. It says now it says the primary racial group enslaved and transported in large numbers by ships was African people, which we know it wasn't Africans. It was Israelites and living in Africa. It says who came from, because it's just for clarity, you Africans, y'all go back to your biblical forefather Ham. We go back to our biblical forefather. Where you had Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but we go to those biblical forefathers. All right. While the others were enslaved. Let's see. Yeah, so there was the Barbary slave trade. But when we're talking about something that's mentioned in the scriptures, is going to be something major. He's not going to be talking about the barbarians going into the barbary slave trade. So I'm just reading. It says Yeah, so you had basically Europeans and indigenous, the indigenous peoples, which is Gad, you know. So let's go back.
So race, I think, is a construction of the mind.
I'm
more
talking
than-
about fleshly race. I'm talking about race.
Yeah, I understand. What I think, I just want to clarify this so I make sure I'm answering your question correctly. When you say race, are you talking about black, white? Are you
Yes,
talking?
yes,
Okay,
yes.
got you. Yes, if that's the case, the heuristic of black, white, things like this, then every single race on planet Earth has been trafficked in slavery in a big way. Every single
I
one of
said
them.
by ships.
Yes, in ships.
Name me the time that white people went into slavery by ships.
The Barbary states enslaved whites. The Arabs enslaved
I
whites.
said, when was this?
Now he's true, they hit the barbarians, they did have ships now. But the thing is that this was a big, like I said, this was a major event to be highlighted in the Bible. We're talking about a lot of Israelites that went in, that were held captive. Let's see.
This.
So the most recent occurrence of this happened at the time of Thomas Jefferson.
Hold on. Let me reword this. In mass
Okay.
numbers, what race of people went into slavery by ships into a land that is not their land?
I don't understand the question. I'm sorry. I actually don't understand the question. What are you actually asking me?
So the key part of the key component is he's emphasizing there being a maritime nature to the slave trade, not simply trafficking, but literally trafficking across the world through vessels on water.
So I understand this. So we had the transatlantic slave trade, and then we had the Arabic slave trade. The Arabic slave trade moved slaves towards the Arab nations. They killed all their slaves. That's why there's not a lot of black Arabs. And then on the other side, they moved them over to the Americas. But this is the transit. That's new. That's new. Like, this has been happening. Slavery has been happening for thousands of years via shipping. Via actual ships.
Which ones with the ships?
All races.
No.
Yeah, so can you answer?
Every single one, going from the Greeks.
Yeah, so I mean,
yes,
obviously this guy's gonna deny it. He's gonna deny.
Use ships.
Obviously, this guy's gonna deny it. He's gonna say that, there's other ones that went via ships by boat, but like I said, there was not one on that magnitude. He may be correct in that, but there was not mass, a big number of. There was not prior to that, there was not a big number of. It wasn't as significant as the Israelites. I'll just put it that way. It wasn't as significant as the Israelites going into slavery. All right.
To go and get slaves from China. I'm not kidding. Like
Esau.
they did.
Hold on, hear me out, Esau. What I'm trying to say to you is this right here, bro. Esau, is that the so-called black people are the only people that are documented of going through slavery, stripped from everything, from their names to their language to their customs to their God word to.
Yep. So he's right. You're right. So that's right on point. You can get Jeremiah 30:7. I'm sorry, no, not Jeremiah. Jeremiah 17:4. And you could also get you could obviously get Deuteronomy 28 and break it down.
To a day they identify by color out the crayon box. That's only happened to a certain people in history.
Not only
hold
that,
on, I'm almost finished. Let me land my plane.
No problem. Go ahead.
That's a prophecy that's prophesied in the Bible to let you know who the Israelites are.
Okay, so I just want to let you know that what you're saying, though, is factually untrue. So Rome, for instance, is a great example of a society which was literally constructed by slavery. There's more slaves in Rome than there were Romans. They did this to all peoples. They stripped them of their name. They stripped them of their title. They stripped them of their family. They stripped them of the whole idea was you must become Roman. Now, in some places later, they let them have some customs, things like this. But this happened in the modern slave trade too. So in the Americas,
We ain't talking about all that. We ain't talking about the transatlantic slave trade. Stop dancing around. We're talking about the transatlantic slave trade, which can clearly be seen in the scriptures. You read Deuteronomy 28:68. It's talking about the Atlantic. But your eyes have to be, and your eyes have to be clear to see that. All right.
They let them have customs and things like this. Sometimes not. It just depends where they were in history. But no, I'm telling you, all races had this happen to them, all of them.
Those people that went through their slavery in Rome are the people that we're saying that are Israelites. And we are those people.
Yeah, but if that was all people. All people, yeah, listen. I mean,
y'all got
all.
Y'all can handle that.
Yeah, but this doesn't mean.
And you know what? I'm gonna do a part 2 on this because there's a lot of subjects I need to, I watched it, and different subjects were coming up. So I'll do a part 2, Lord willing. I'll do a part 2. I'll go ahead and upload this. Shalom, double honor to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. Shalom.